What is going on, everybody? Welcome to the Wash Kings podcast, the show where a couple of cousins talk hoops, the NBA, and keep you updated on everything you need to know about your Denver Nuggets. I'm your host, Cam Kennedy, in Denver, Colorado, and I am joined by my fellow Wash Kings, Kennedy Phillips, who's back in St. Louis after his European trip, Patrick Kennedy, who's holding it down for us on the East Coast, and super producer Matthew Hinnon with me in Denver. Fellas, how was everybody's week? Ken, I know you just came back from a trip. How's it going?
I'm doing well, man. I went straight from the Louvre back to the Lou. I had a nice little spring break trip out to London and then down to Paris for a few days. So it's been a good time. Dealing with getting back to a normal routine's been a little difficult, but I'm doing well. Glad to be here tonight.
Yeah, man. Some of those pictures looked really, really fun. It looked like you guys had a good time. Pat, how's it going?
I'm doing good. My last week has just been consumed by watching a lot of basketball, not only Nuggets, but obviously we're in the thick of March Madness, and tonight I'm rocking Cooper Flag
jersey.
Team,
bro. Your new team?
Yeah, somewhat of a bandwagon fan, but I mean, I do have a reason to. My girlfriend is a nurse at Duke, so let's go Blue Devils.
Yeah, I think that's worthy enough of being a fan. Cooper Flag's also just super fun to watch. I was going to ask you all, how is are you guys enjoying March Madness so far, or just kind of on and off or whatever?
I think after about day two, not even like halfway through day two, my brackets were. I had a good day one, and after that, it's gone downhill. So it's still fun to watch, though.
Yeah, I've got one that's pretty good, and then all the rest are pretty trash. But riding on the one,
I made a couple
on that bracket. Yeah.
No, that's good. I made a couple, and they're all doing pretty badly. So I'm not that invested. Also, my Blue Jays got knocked out. So I think I'm kind of going for like Florida, Duke, maybe Auburn, just because that can make Creighton look a little bit better. But it'll be fun to see how it all plays out, you know.
Certainly.
All right. Well, yeah, I just got back from a trip to Seattle where I saw Ep.3. He's not going to be with us today because he is in Italy. So the Wash Kings have been quite busy between all of us traveling, it seems like. So there's a lot of plane rides and sleepless nights there. But yeah, New York, Seattle, France, Italy, Rome, all the places that Kennedy went. It's crazy.
We got Roman Empire Eb.Dog out there tonight, but guess he doesn't want to join the call. It's okay though.
I know. He's not committed enough. He should have been here at 2 or 3 a.m.
Rome Dog Eb.Dog.
Rome Dog.
Let's fire him.
He's off the show.
He's gone.
Well, so the Wash Kings are not a sponsored podcast, but hopefully someday we can earn some sponsorships from Dude Wipes, because Dude Wipes are the best clean pants down. But we also want to give a little shout out to DraftKings. We obviously have PK, who gives his PKs, DKs, working hard with those. So DraftKings, Dude Wipes, we're always ready to talk. We got another one coming out later too. We got a great show for y'all today. We're about to go over this past week as the Nuggets did not have Jokic for a single game, but we're able to go 2-2 with 2 great wins, but also 2 awful blowout losses. We're also going to be talking about our confidence scales for each player going into the playoffs and how well we think they can perform, if they could stay healthy, all of those things. And finally, we will look at the final 10 games of the season and talk about how the Nuggets should handle this final stretch of the season, or of the season before the postseason, whether or not they should prioritize health or seeding. So, fellas, let's jump into it. Let's take a look back on this past week. We went 2-2 without Jokic on this 4-game road trip. Despite missing Jokic for all 4 games and Murray for 2 of them, we got a gritty win against Golden State with a great game from Aaron Gordon. He had 38 points, and Russ dropped a triple-double in that one. And then another win against Houston yesterday, which was a huge win because the Rockets were red hot. They had won 9 games in a row before that, and Murray erupted for 39 points. It was nice to see him play well. But we also had 2 awful blowout losses against the Lakers on Wednesday where Luka torched them early, and that game was out of reach quickly. The only bright spot was that AG continued to play strong and score and hit those threes. And then a really bad loss against Portland on Friday. It was a competitive first half, but the second half they just collapsed, and Murray looked really passive. But fellas, what are some of your key takeaways from this past week of games, going 2-2 without Jokic? Actually, not that bad, but what do you guys think?
Sure. Yeah, I'll go first. So basically my opening thought for this week was obviously they went 2-2. Most of the games without Jokic, some without Murray. Not as bad as I thought it would be. If you told me last week that we'd be missing those guys, and especially Jokic for all of those. So Just about where I thought we would be, maybe even worse without Jokic. But I think this week really showed how dependent they are on Jokic, but also showed who stepped up. And so going into that, what I really liked was how Aaron Gordon really stepped up as a leader. And he's a guy who's been missing. He's been in and out of games, and it's been hard for him to catch fire. So it was really good to see him be consistent. And you just saw that he was a true leader for the Nuggets. And I think he averaged about 25 per game throughout this stretch. So he showed that he can be more than just a complimentary piece. Next, I'd say Murray's bounce back against Houston was huge.
Big time.
And, that's the version that we really need from him from the playoffs. And so biggest question with that is how consistent can he be playing at that level? Another thing, too, I liked bench energy, especially late in that Lakers game. Even though they lost,
True.
I thought that fourth quarter push was pretty promising. What I didn't like so much was obviously what's killed us all season is that defensive inconsistency. It was just absolutely brutal. Gave up 46 points in the first quarter versus the Lakers, and then collapsed in the third quarter versus Portland. Turnovers were just horrible, just sloppy games, I thought, for the most part. And then looking at Porter, I know we talked about him last week. MPJ was just okay, nothing spectacular. But I thought I really would have liked to see him step up with Jokic being out.
Yeah.
But my main takeaway from the week was just without Jokic, Denver does need a clear identity. At times they looked lost, but at times other guys stepped up, and we saw that with Murray and Aaron Gordon.
Definitely. Ken, were you encouraged or discouraged by the week that they just had? I know you were sort of busy throughout this week, but what'd you think?
Yeah, it was tough for me to kind of really watch them because I was actually sleeping at the time. But watching highlights and kind of rerunning through some film of sorts the last couple of days, and then being able to catch the game last night, it's funny because going into that 4-game kind of stretch since we've last talked, you think, okay, I mean, maybe one of those games is winnable, or at least especially without Jokic. And that one that you think of is definitely Portland, and that's the one that they honestly look the worst in. So I think that is a little frustrating there, but again, when you have that perspective, no Jokic, going 2-2 in that stretch that's okay. It's better than 1-3, 0-4. But I think it's funny that one of those losses actually came to a team that we really should beat. So can't take it,
Right.
We'll take it with a grain of salt. Definitely we'll take some wins, but 3-1 would have been real nice. I think, as Pat alluded to a little bit, it's just like it's really, it never fails to amaze me how much this team relies on Jokic, and just every single player, an MPJ, a Christian Brown, even some of the bench guys that do get some time, and it's like everything just kind of goes downhill a little bit without Jokic, and as Pat said again, like the identity just lacks. But I was really encouraged by what Jamal showed last night. It's something that he just tends to do to us, is he'll frustrate you, and then he'll drop 38 and look like prime Jamal from the bubble, and you're just like, what are we going to get from him tonight? So interested to see how he handles the back-to-back tonight against Chicago, and hoping that that's something we can build some sort of hope on as we work towards the playoffs here soon.
Yeah, definitely. I share a lot of those takes that you guys have too from this week. I think some of the biggest things was that AG and Murray, although Murray struggled in one of those games, they were able to show some sort of scoring prowess or bag without Jokic, which you're never really feeling that good about with this Nuggets team, is who's going to get it done without Jokic. And I was actually kind of encouraged from what we saw from them. It was a weird week. The vibes kind of felt bad throughout the week, even though they had some two pretty good wins against Golden State and the Rockets, obviously. Jamal being up and down, of course, that's something that we're just kind of used to. But he kind of beat the Jokic merchant allegations a little bit yesterday by scoring 39 points and getting it in the way that he did. It was really impressive to see him do what he did yesterday. But I even saw from my notes last week that I said I would be really happy if the Nuggets went 2-2, and that was before we even knew that Jokic wasn't going to be playing in all these games. So I'm actually pretty pleased with what they were able to do. It didn't come in the fashion that I thought it would, but that's, of course, this Nuggets season. It's just been a roller coaster, right? So it's good that they held their heads above water in this stretch and had to learn how to get a couple of wins without Jokic, honestly. I think that's important. And AG in the stretch was super impressive. I know he's out tonight as we're filming this. The Bulls are playing the Nuggets right now. They're almost at half. Hopefully that's nothing serious, and that's just more management for AG. But yeah, I'm glad to see Jamal's playing tonight too. So I'm actually pretty pleased with what we saw this week.
Yeah, I think it's interesting to see how they play tonight a little bit. It's right about half, and I think they're, at least on my end, they're up 2. But I think with that too, it's an important time for guys to get some run, build some confidence. I think it's good for Jamal to have those games to, start feeling himself a little bit, and then also seeing a little bit about where these guys are at. So build some confidence, build some some good minutes in there for these guys that rely on Jokic a lot, but it's good for them to also kind of figure out how they can be effective without him. So
the good news is that the Nuggets have Jokic. So and he's very durable, and he's always been there. So the good news is that these guys can be Jokic merchants, sort of. They've passed by that, or have done that for years. But Pat, what do you think? What do you think about all that?
I think the biggest thing, especially with Jamal, is just him playing with confidence and him just having a killer mentality when he's out there. As well as MPJ too. Like, we'd love to see a little bit more of that, and he's gone in spurts of that throughout this week as well. But just between those two guys, like where they were at in 2023 is they were shooting their shot, they were driving it. I mean, they were just playing the brand of basketball that we know these Nuggets know how to do. And then Aaron Gordon, same thing. I know it's been tough with him with the inconsistent time of coming in and out of injuries, but it's really great to see him step up, as I said.
And he's nailing those threes, man. I mean, I think he's leading the Nuggets in three-point percentage this year, and it's just, it's not on the highest volume, but I cannot believe that's something that we're talking about this far into the season. And the fact that he's making free throws at like an 82% clip too, both like huge improvements from last year. So the Aaron Gordon step up is going to be really big for them in the playoffs. Obviously, health, barring, they're going to need that. He's going to need to hit open shots, and I am very encouraged from what I've seen from AG in the stretch, and that he got to do some of that alone.
Yeah, it's been pretty weird to feel confident when he shoots the basketball. I don't know. Even in the year they won the ship, it was like anytime he was at the free throw line, I struggled to watch, dude. It was like
cringing, hoping that he would make them.
Yeah, especially in those just tight games. But he ended up doing better than I expected in the playoff run, and it's been really good to see him making some threes, because I think eventually we're going to run into some matchups where teams are really going to force us to obviously not let Jokic do all of the scoring, and it's going to come down to guys like, obviously MPJ, but AG can knock some threes, Christian Brown can knock in some threes. That comes in some big times, and we need that. So
yeah, it changes the complexity of their offense. Yeah. That's for sure.
It is weird to have confidence when AG's shooting the 3 ball. If you keep up with PK's DK on our social medias, I think against the Blazers, I was actually confident in this pick. I had him at 2+ made threes. He finished with 1, but I'm almost more confident that he'll have 2 threes over MPJ nowadays.
Seriously, man. Because, he's going to get looks, too. Like, he's going to be opening corners, especially when they're playing with Jokic and everything is so compressed in the middle. They're going to be guys that are open. They're going to live with the Christian Brown 3-pointer. They're going to live with an Aaron Gordon 3-pointer. But I'm hoping that teams are kind of taking AG a little bit more serious from 3, and that's an actual thing that they can't leave open because it's going to kill him if he keeps making them. But, yeah, AG is probably the biggest story from this week. And then, obviously, Jamal having the near 40-point game yesterday helps a lot. That makes you feel a lot better about what the Nuggets can do. I'm actually pretty encouraged. Not going to lie.
Same.
Any more thoughts, fellas, before we head to break?
I think one thing that just popped into my head, too, is not only are we going to see adjustments forcing guys like AG to make threes, but thinking about that, it popped in my mind about a lot of that Westbrook adjustment that we'll see when he's in the game. Like, they're just going to let him be open. So that's just what you get with Westbrook. But, at least it's not Westbrook and AG, struggling from three. So hopefully it's just
Right.
Russ, and see him make some adjustments with that. So
Very true. Well, I know we're gonna go into each player a little bit here soon in segment 2. That's one of the main concerns for Russ come playoff time. Just a little preview of that. But Pat, if you got no thoughts on this, we're gonna head into break number 1.
Sounds good. Let's do it.
All right, Maddie, you got us. All right.
Hey there, everybody. It's super producer Matt here. I just want to tell you guys about a brand new nutrition supplement program that I just kind of started to get into. It's called Podium Nutrition, and they are your ultimate partner in achieving peak performance and wellness. Whether you're an athlete that's looking to push your limits, or just someone looking to live a healthier lifestyle, kind of get into the gym a little bit more, get a little bit more out of your gym time, Podium Nutrition has got you covered with a range of premium supplements crafted from only the finest ingredients. You can fuel your body with the nutrients that it craves. From protein powders to vitamins, recovery formulas, each product is designed to support your journey to greatness. And guess what? They taste great. Coming from somebody who uses them every day, they taste amazing. They've got great flavors. So say goodbye to all those boring shakes you make in the morning and say hello to flavors that you'll actually really love. Plus, with Podium Nutrition's commitment to quality and transparency, you can trust that you're getting the best. No fillers, no artificial ingredients, just pure, effective nutrition. So why are you guys waiting? Join the Podium family today and step up your nutrition game. Visit podiumnutrition.com today. Podium Nutrition, fuel your journey, own your performance.
not gonna lie,
Dude,
I might need to get in some Podium. I need to get some
say,
Podium stock.
Yeah.
You got me convinced.
We need to get some free samples or something. Maybe that comes with the sponsorship, but I would love to get some Podium, man.
That'd be awesome.
You convinced me, Matt.
Disclaimer:
Matt,
we are not.
what
we
are
are
we-
not sponsored by Podium.
We're not sponsored. We are not
But,
sponsored.
I mean,
so that's a little free promo for y'all.
Hey,
If you want to,
The Kevin
here.
James meme of
The hands in the pockets. Good read, Matt. Matt, what is the game looking like? We're at halftime.
We're at halftime. It's 65-65.
Okay.
We're a lot of bench turnovers, a lot of leaving guys open. We've had
Bench play.
Chicago's made a couple of crazy shots. I'm not gonna lie. So they're kind of
The
getting
Bulls
in.
are solid.
Yeah, they're kind of getting in on us a little bit, but Jamal's playing pretty good. MPJ's kind of bricked a couple. He had a long 3 just before half. Christian's made some big
I see.
time plays. Yeah.
Okay. Well, hopefully they can pull it off. The Bulls are pretty good, man. They routed the Lakers the other night. Just ran all around them, man.
it was a giddy party.
Ain't no party like a giddy. Ain't no party like a giddy party.
well done.
That's crazy. Well done. That was a good one. By the way, I saw that Westbrook passed Kevin Garnett for 20th all time in points. So, shout out to
That's
Westbrook.
awesome.
The big ticket.
Incredible achievement. The big ticket. Past KG. That's pretty cool, man. He's one of the highest scoring point guards of all time. I think. I got to look at it, but he's like second or something on that list. Which
No,
is crazy.
it is pretty crazy that we've got Westbrook on our team. Like
Russell Westbrook is on our team.
he's been. I mean,
Got it.
obviously a Hall of Famer, but like that dude's career has been crazy. Just needs a
The fact
ring.
that the Nuggets. Yeah.
It's been so great to see him like kind of redefine his career in Denver too. I mean, he's gotten a lot of hate, I feel
Dude.
like, in recent years
I know.
ever since his decline from his peak, and he just looks like he's having fun, and our fan base has just been given him nothing but love, which has been great.
I'm hoping that the Nuggets can obviously win a championship or something this year. Get Westbrook his first ring, but if not, even if that falls short, I'm hoping that there's a way to keep Westbrook on this team for a while because I actually love him. He's a great teammate, great energy. So, but we're going to be talking about some confidence scales for Nuggets players in this segment. All right. So basically, we're going to go through a couple of guys. We're going to do a 1 to 10 scale on how confident that we are that this player will be a bit able to perform stay healthy and impact winning at the highest level for the Nuggets in the upcoming postseason. Only 10 games left, fellas, so we're getting really close. Let's just start with the big man. Let's start with Nikola Jokic. 10 out of 10 for me. I got no concerns for him playing at an MVP level. The only thing that I think you can point to is his three-point shooting has actually declined quite a bit since the All-Star break. He's shooting 28.6% from three in those 13 games since then. But I'm not that worried about it. I think he's going to dominate. He's going to hit open threes, hopefully, and that will be a big boost for Denver. Guys, what is your confidence scale for Nikola Jokic in the playoffs?
I think I already go for it, Ben. Sorry, go for it.
All right. I actually got him at 0 out of 10, surprisingly. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, I mean, it's a no-brainer. 10 out of 10. He'd be a 10 out of 10 on any team. Obviously, the best player in the world right now, so that's all I got on him. Bear?
I was just going to say, I think the only real concern that you touched on, Cam, is the three-point shooting, but I also think his volume has gone way up since the All-Star break, and also, I've seen some fun stats about like what his percentage would be if he didn't chuck up those three-quarter court shots once a game.
True.
But I think that his three-point shooting has always kind of actually gone up in terms of percentages in the playoffs, and he just makes big shots. So I wouldn't say that's necessarily a concern for myself, but I think that he's definitely a 10 out of 10 for all of us, and he's going to need to be the 10 out of 10 for us to make a run. So
yeah, and I think that Malone's doing it right and having him sit. What is this? His 5th game in a row that he sat.
5th in a row.
Yeah. So, in order for him to be at a 10 out of 10 for us, he has to stay healthy. And he's been banged up a little bit, and he's usually a guy that doesn't like to sit, but I think he knows that like his health is absolutely crucial to the success of this team in the postseason.
I think they're managing his health so much differently this year than they did last year. Last year, if I'm not mistaken, he played like 79 games. I think he only missed like 3. So for him to be missing stretches like this, and I'm sure he's hurt, but if he absolutely had to play right now, I'm sure he would be playing and doing just fine. But I think it's important that he's getting like this week, maybe week and a half. I don't know when he's going to come back exactly. But yeah, Jokic, 10 out of 10. He'll be fine. Let's go to Jamal Murray. To me, this is a little bit more complicated. You want to go 10 out of 10 just because you know what he's done in the past. To me, I think I would go 8. And I don't know if that's too low. But my biggest concern for him is health. Can he hold up against physical defenses? Obviously, we know that when he scores 30-plus points, the Nuggets have a 10-1 record this year when he's done that, which proves that their ceiling is that much higher when he's on. But I'm just, Jamal, you're always a little worried about the conditioning and stuff, and I just hope he doesn't run out of gas. So my confidence level isn't as high as I'd like it to be, but it's at an 8 out of 10 for now. But
yeah. Mine's similar to yours, Cam. I had him at 8.5 out of 10, if we're allowed to do a 0.5 scale.
Yeah, I think so.
And it probably would have been 8 if it weren't for this last game.
True.
Yeah. And like you said, he's a proven playoff performer. I think his stats, like he's one of the best players to rise to the occasion come playoff time. And so if he's healthy, because he's had those nagging injuries, and it looks like he's playing healthy, being aggressive. As long as he's consistent. Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
I'm gonna be super optimistic myself, and
I like
I'm gonna give him a 10. I'm gonna give him a 10.
Hey,
and
all right.
Maybe that's totally recency bias, and maybe that's just speaking to the universe. But
sure.
Seeing the way he kind of carried himself last night, and after hearing just a little bit, I don't know if it was during the Nuggets game or with broadcast, they were talking about how the Nuggets had kind of a team meeting that day, and I don't know.
Really?
I think Jamal. I think he feels that. I think he hopefully understands that he needs to be, as I've said in the pod before, like he needs to be the heartbeat of this team. And I think that just he's had that little bit of a look in his eye, that little bit of seriousness. Sometimes you don't really know too much about how he's really thinking, obviously, but I think he knows he's needed, and he's got to be hungry. I think last year he was exposed a little bit for, can't deal with the physical defense. He
was run down a little.
He was,
too.
yeah. So I'm hoping he goes in the playoffs healthy. I think it would be good for him to sit a couple of these last games. I know that ankle sprain is kind of bugging him, but I'm going to be optimistic and I'm going to believe in Jamal because he's done it for us in the past. So hopefully he can do it again.
I like it, man. Yeah, because we know what he can do, and you want to believe in your guys. He just got the big contract, like, I like it. Matt, could you do us a favor? Could you track? We'll do an aggregated scale of our general feeling of it. So Jokic, we all said 10 out of 10. Jamal, so you said 8.5. Ken said 10. I said 8. So does that just put us at like 9?
That's quick maths.
Right. We'll do something like that. All right, cool. Thanks, Matt. All right, I'm gonna go to Aaron Gordon next. I think the third most important Nugget. This is, I think, pretty easy actually. I said 8.5, but I'm leaning towards a 9. I feel really confident in what he can do. I think I will change my score. I'm gonna go or scale. I'm gonna say 9. He's shooting 45.8% overall this season from 3. And 60% from 3 in his last 7 games. He's averaging in that 7-game stretch. He's averaging 21.3 points per game. 60% from the field in the last 7 games. But 58.3% from 3 in that stretch, which is huge if it holds up. We talked about it a little bit earlier. His physicality and defensive versatility are crucial. I'm hoping that he is the level of defender that we need him to. And if he can be a reliable outside shooter, that just makes the Nuggets that more dangerous. So he is a huge key to this team. And I think the only thing that holds me back in my score from giving him a 10 is the health. I really worried about that calf strain and stuff. So I'm hoping that doesn't linger around and stuff. But I'm gonna give AG a 9. What would you guys put at AG at?
I got you matched right at 9 too, and you basically summed up exactly what my notes said. If I read word for word what my note says, it says physical, versatile, and playoff tested.
There you go.
He's obviously a two-way player that's absolutely key for Denver, and he's got the inside game as well as the outside game. So as long as he keeps shooting the way he's been shooting, I think good things happen, especially if MPJ goes into the playoffs playing as consistent as he's playing right now. I think AG stepping up. And Cam, like you said, he's probably the third best player on this team right now. I think he'll pick up big time come playoffs.
I've got him at an 8. For 2 reasons. Okay. So 1 point for each reason. One being the health, as we've touched on, and 2, I definitely think this one's coincided with his health, but I just haven't seen him be the defender, we've seen in previous years, and I don't know if that's directly related to the health, or just him kind of making sure he's right for playoffs, which I don't blame him. But I mean, the West is tough, and there's going to be some guys that 3-4 position. Sometimes he'll be asked to guard a guy, even like if we end up playing a Dallas, like a Luka. I feel like that's usually kind of his matchup.
Or LA.
Yeah, I kind of totally. I still can't believe that that's real.
I know.
It's wild.
I know.
But
LA's a tough matchup for that reason.
LA,
yeah.
Yes. I knew Dallas wasn't even in the playoffs too.
I didn't even bat an eye at that either.
I didn't.
Cam, good thing you caught
that. Right? But I think he needs to show me in that first series or so that he's that high level defender that he is, because he's he is the core of our defense, especially with that KCP in the playoffs this year. So that's why I got him at an 8. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. No. Actually, I think those are really fair points. He is so big and swings the Nuggets' momentum. Both sides of the ball, defensive, and if he can make open shots like he has, I think that's actually pretty fair. So where's our scale at? Where's our score at?
What's the quick math?
Matt's doing some calculations.
9 plus 9 plus
Some
8.
quick math. 8.6. Let's round down. Let's go 8.5. Keep it simple.
Who's got a TI-84 calculator?
I know, right? Okay, I think we're pretty spot on here. We all have a general vibe going
I'll
here.
just chat GPT.
Let's go. Yeah, they'll tell us. All right, guys, let's go to Michael Porter Jr. Sadly, this one's not great. This one's not great. I have a 6 out of 10 for Mike. Listen, we've seen him do really good things in the playoffs before, but He's been up and down. The consistency is a problem for Mike in the playoffs. I think I did some digging in last year versus Minnesota. He averaged just 10.7 points per game and shot 32.5% from three, and was an overall minus 33 in those 7 games. I really think that it's matchup dependent for him sometimes, and that when we face physical defenses, they can take him out of the game. I don't think Mike is soft necessarily, but something about those physical matchups just don't, he doesn't handle those well. And the Nuggets need him to be a third scoring option and be that consistent third scoring option. But will he find his rhythm in those tough matchups? I don't know. And that's why I'm kind of lower on Michael Porter. I know we've seen us win a championship with him, but I'm at a 6 out of 10 for Mike.
Yeah, I'm not much higher. I had him at 7 just because of his elite shooting.
Sure.
I just know that he can turn it on at any point. And in 2023, I know you touched on his 2024 playoff stats, but in 2023 he was lighting it up. I mean, absolutely killing the Lakers. So he still has that. I mean, he's got a lot in the tank. I just feel like he's in some sort of mental funk with his confidence right now, and I feel like if anything, now would be the time to get that out of the way before playoffs. But if he can lock it in and figure it out by playoffs, I think we'll be pretty good. So I got him at 7 out of 10.
Okay.
I'm struggling with it, so I'm gonna split the difference. I'm gonna go 5.5. And I'm usually, I'd say, a pretty big MPJ fan, but he's just looked off since the All-Star break. I don't know if he just didn't get enough vitamin D in Cabo, or what his deal is, but
yeah.
I feel like he kind of ramped it up, as we talked last week about around trade talks, around that trade deadline, and then since then he's just really dropped off, and the production hasn't been there. I just looked up stats in terms of his playoff stats, and he's averaging about 13.9, 14 points, and about 7 rebounds. And I think if the Nuggets want to make a run, we need Mike scoring 15, 20 a game, and that's a couple big threes. He's got to be hitting 3-4 threes a night. But I think a big part of his game too, and it's been an Achilles heel for the Nuggets, if one of many, is he needs to be on the glass. He needs to be active. And I think that if he can be putting up 15 and 8, 17 and 7, whatever it may be, just contributing in other ways than shooting the 3 ball. Obviously, we're not going to rely on him as a huge defender, but I think his length is important on the defensive side, being in the passing lanes, moving around well, and we need him on the glass active. So we'll see.
That's a good point. Got to mention the rebounding side of it, because sometimes he can disappear on that end. Matt, I know you had some thoughts about Michael Porter.
Yeah, I'm gonna butt in here. I'm gonna pull a stat from tonight. It's we got a couple minutes into the third quarter here. Mike is 1 for 6 from the 3-point line. He's a minus 10.
Not good enough, man.
He does have 12 points, and I think that kind of just he's one of the 3 top scorers tonight at the moment. And I'm gonna touch on what Ken said. As of late, for the recency bias, I don't think he has it right now. I mean, this is a Bulls team that's not playing him very hard, and we have other teams that are going to come out of the West that are going to be way more ferocious on the 3-point line. They're going to give MPJ the respect of guarding him at the 3-point line, and he's from what he's shown from the All-Star break, I don't think it changes. He might go on a tear. He might get super hot, to kind of go off of what Pat said. But I really think he's been struggling, and I don't know. Again, all these other teams have very consistent 3-point shooters that they can kind of lean on, and they will light you up. Especially in LA with Luka. I mean, we saw it. It was the Luka show the other night against the Nuggets, and that's a hard pill to swallow if you're a Nuggets fan. That
Right.
MPJ is kind of consistently in the negatives when he's on the floor. So something like that doesn't give me much confidence. I've got him as a 5, and I'm just saying that because I think, he can turn it on at some point. It's 50-50, and right now he hasn't hit that other 50 mark of being on in a long time.
Okay. Yeah, no, I hear you. I get the skepticism there for sure. Uh, he's been in a funk, and shooting is confidence. It's all confidence. We know how good of a shooter he is, but when you ride that wave of confidence, it can dip, and hopefully he's going to find that rhythm come playoff time. So, are we sort of at like a 6 out of 10 combined?
Yeah.
I'd say so. Yeah.
I just calculated it between us three. We were at
TI.
6.16, and then including Matt puts us at a 5.87. So right about 6.
Let's do 6. Okay. Yeah, I think that's
6.
fair.
Yep.
I think that's fair for Mike. Yeah.
I agree.
All right. Let's move on. Let's go to Christian Brown, our 5th starter. I put CB at a 8 out of 10. There might still be some questions there, but I'm on the higher upside of what he can be and what he's shown us this year, especially playing with Jokic, which I think a lot of his minutes will overlap with. Obviously, we saw him perform in the championship season in spurts as a rookie off the bench. He stepped up in key moments, especially that one finals game. I am a little bit worried, though. Here's where I hold back on him a little bit, is that will his defense hold up against elite guards like SGA and Anthony Edwards? Because I don't know if he's really shown us that this year, and I think his defense has actually taken a step back from where we wanted it to. I think his offense took a massive leap forward, but his defense sort of took a step back, and that's sort of the AG conversation as well. Obviously, his three-point shooting, though it's been steady this year, about like 38%, something like that, it's still a concern, and it's still a way that teams are going to defend Denver is by leaving him open. So he's got to capitalize on those looks. Last year, I looked at his minutes. He played 17.1 minutes per game in last playoffs, and that's going to increase this year. So we're going to have to see what he will do with a little bit more pressure, a little bit more time, and a little bit more responsibility on his shoulders. I got CB at an 8 out of 10. What do you guys have him at?
I got him at a 7.5 out of 10. Just because, like you said, his defense is it's spotty. Like some games it's good, and other times he just lets a guy right up to the hoop. Sorry, I don't really know what I'm saying. But I mean, he is a hustle guy,
good.
and he's got the playoff experience from last 2 years. So I think that really brings him up. And then other reason I have him down a little bit is just consistency with the 3-point shooting. I think he'll be really huge if we can swing the ball like one more pass. He's our guy in the corner. So as long as the shot's falling, he'll be a huge asset for us.
Confidence is big.
I got him at a 6. He needs to show defensively. I think in previous years I was like, oh, we got a guy that's going to be able to guard an Anthony Edwards, and that matchup just has not proven to be a good matchup for us. And obviously there's more series than just the Timberwolves, but if we want to make a deep run, we're going to have to beat Timberwolves or a Thunder team with some larger guards that are talented, physical. I think with CB, and again, maybe some recency, he's looked a little rough without Jokic. But obviously he's a system player within that offense for Jokic. I think he needs to get his body right. I think he's probably pretty beat from playing every night. I mean, he seems to be in the lineup just about every night. I know he sat out the other night, but
He's played a lot of games this year.
He worries me a little bit sometimes when he's dribbling the ball up the court, trying to give Jamal some breather. And I think a lot of teams are going to force, AG to bring up the ball, Christian Brown to bring up the ball, and obviously we have Russ as well, which would be big. But I think that just his floor is there. I think his ceilings is definitely a little bit higher. I think he's a competitor. He's a winner, and I think he steps up for the moment. But I think for his first starting role in the playoffs, I'm gonna start him there at that 6.
Okay, yeah, I think totally fair. Those are all concerns that we'll have for him. Pat, what did you have him at again?
I had him at 7.5. That's right.
I think we're in that 7 range. I think that's
7,
about right.
yep.
I'm on the higher end.
Yeah.
Ken's on the lower end. Pat's about in the middle. I think that's about right.
Yep.
We'll go a little bit quicker on these next few guys. Or actually, let's spend a little bit of time on Russ. and then kind of go through the next few guys a little bit quicker, just to get out of here sooner. But Russell Westbrook, to me, I have that at a 5 out of 10. I'm pretty low on this. Historically, he struggles in the playoffs, and we've seen that in the latter half of his career. Him just really struggle. He's a turnover machine sometimes. He's a loose cannon. I'm hoping that he can kind of calm things down, and he's looked different in a Denver uniform and in this system. But last year, guys, in the playoffs with the Clippers, he shot 26% from the field, averaged 6.3 points with 1.7 turnovers in like 18 minutes of play. That stuff's concerning. I know that's a different situation. He's going to play less with Jokic, though. So his impact is going to be, I think, a lot without Jokic, unless they do some things with the rotations, which if him and Jokic matched up in the rotation, I think that'd actually be a good thing. But opponents are also going to leave him open. So is he going to be able to make some of those open shots? And can he be playable? I think the Clippers saw that he's not really playable in the playoffs last year. Big reason they got rid of him. I'm hoping that changes with Denver, but I got a 5 out of 10 confidence for him.
I'm a little bit higher. I have him at 6.5 out of 10. He brings the energy and playmaking, but the efficiency is definitely a big question mark for him. And especially coming off the bench, he's not nearly as good off the bench as he is when he's starting games, right? When he's starting games, Nuggets are good. He's looking good, but when he's off the bench, it just seems like he can't really catch any sort of fire, and it's maybe he's
because he has to do more. Yeah,
exactly.
Like because he has so much more he has to do.
Yes, and I think he just feels like he needs to do so much more, and as you know, with his play style, I mean, he'll make some handful of turnovers when he plays that way. So my biggest question mark is like, can he fit in as a secondary player without like forcing those shots off the bench?
True.
I've got him at a 6. I'm in between 5 and a 7. 5 if he's coming off the bench consistently. I think his floor is a little bit higher as a starter, but then that kind of throws off some things in terms of bench play. So I'm gonna leave him at the 6. I think that he does bring a little bit more defensively than any of us really think about, just in terms of his mindset and his mentality of just not dealing with it. He's gonna work hard. He's going to not take anything from anybody. So I think that can hopefully send some message to us defensively in that intensity. But also in the playoffs, you want a guy that can calm things down, not make everybody else a little bit chaotic. So I'm intrigued to see how he fits in with the Nuggets in the playoffs. But I'm hoping he can bring a little bit of that Bruce Brown mentality from 2023.
Those are good positive spins for it. Obviously, like he's a dog, and the Nuggets are going to need some of that dog in them for this upcoming playoff. So we're about 6. Is that a 6 out of 10 sort of range? I think so.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We're going to go through these last guys faster. So everyone just kind of give a number. Peyton Watson, I said 4 out of 10. I just think he's got very limited playoff experience. I'm not that confident in what he can do for them this playoffs. I'm hoping I'm wrong about that. They're going to need him defensively, but what'd you put for P-Watt?
I got him at 5. A little bit higher than you just because of his defensive potential, but he's still raw.
They need him.
I mean,
yeah.
I got him at a 4. I just feel like they don't play him in the playoffs a whole lot. Even last year, I feel
like he won't play.
I thought that the Minnesota matchup would have been perfect for P-Watt, and he just didn't play. So I don't know if it's a coaching mindset, etc., but I can't be very high on him because I just don't know if he's going to play a whole lot.
Okay, so yeah, about a 4.5 for all of us. We just got to see it. We got to see it. Zeke Naji, I put 2 out of 10. This is not for what I think he is as a player. I just think he's not really going to play. We'll see if he even gets in the rotation. But Zeke, I put a 2 out of 10.
I had him at a 4. Similar thing, just with the defensive potential, but his consistency has just been very off. And like you said, he just won't play. And as we know with Mike Malone, doesn't really play the bench in the playoffs. So that's what I got him at.
I'll take Zeke at a 2. I don't think he's going to play a whole lot. Even if he does, he's probably going to be playing some backup 5. And he's only shown good things when he's been a 4. And I just don't think that he's going to really see the floor as a 4. So it's 2025, and we are talking about Zeke Naji playoff minutes, which is a wild reality to be in. But hopefully he can provide some spark. A little bit of good, but we'll see.
He was on such a good path too, so I don't know. I'm not that confident in it though. DeAndre Jordan was like the last guy I really listed, only as like a matchup dependent sort of guy that could play when they're playing teams that are bigger. I actually put 6 out of 10 for this because I feel like he can give you like a solid 5 minutes and kind of give Jokic an AG relief. Any DJ score did you guys have?
I had him
Or
at
what would you
5.
put?
Yeah, I had him at
Yeah.
5. I didn't have a ton of notes on him. He did play pretty well this last game, which is pretty good to see.
Yeah.
If I didn't see that, I probably would have had him at a 4, to be honest.
Yeah.
I got him at a 4 because that's probably the amount of minutes he'll be playing a game.
Yep. That's about a 5 out of 10 for Jordan. DJ. We love him. He's a playoff vibe, or he's a vibes guy. He's a vibes man. Anyone else? Jalen Pickett, Vlatko, Hunter Tyson, kind of zeros, right?
I'm a 10.
Ones.
I'm a 10 on Pickett. We're riding the Pickett fence.
Pickett? Dude, he's like calming though. I feel like he could get in a game where Jamal's in foul trouble, Russ is hurting, or whatever. You never know. All right, yeah. Well, that's it for our confidence scale. We're going to be done here with segment 2. Pat, let's do a check-in maybe on your PKs, DKs.
Absolutely. You want me to do that, Reed? It's pretty quick.
Yeah, do it real quick. No worries.
Okay. The action never stops at DraftKings Sportsbook, and neither does PK's DK. Welcome back to the Wash Kings. It's time for PK's DK, where we break down the best bets, biggest lines, and sharpest plays for the Nuggets and beyond. Whether you're riding with the Joker, fading the competition, or just looking for value, DraftKings has you covered. Because at DK, the crown is yours. And so for PK's DK, I originally had a line that was plus 116, and then with AG out, it went down to minus 125 with that voided leg. So the one leg I had for him was 1+ made 3, so that got voided. So now we got a 3-leg parlay of 2+ made 3-pointers by Jamal, already hit. We also got 5+ Murray assists. He's at 4, so hopefully,
Okay.
I mean, we got about 5 minutes left in the third, should hit. And then we got
hit.
alternate over for each team at over 226.5, and I think that one should maybe hit, but we'll see. Both teams are bound to give up a lot defensively, so.
I think it's on track. All right. Well, thank you, Pat. We're going to take a real quick look at the we're about to get out of here, but we're going to take a look at the Nuggets final stretch here a little bit in this 5-game homestand they have. Tonight, obviously, they are playing Chicago. That's in progress. Hopefully they can pull off this win. Maybe not, but we'll see. They got Milwaukee on Wednesday, Utah on Friday. 3 days of rest, actually, which is nice. And then Minnesota on Tuesday next week and San Antonio on Wednesday. The key question this week, I think, is will Jokic be back? I think we're going to see 3 games before our next show. Hopefully a 2-1 record can sort of happen. Maybe a win against Chicago and Utah, maybe a loss to Milwaukee or whatever. But we'll see when Jokic comes back. I'm not too sure. Who are you guys worried about in the upcoming home game stand? Obviously Minnesota next week, but that'll be probably talked about more on next show.
I think that Bucks game is going to be interesting. I'm intrigued.
Yeah.
Do they bring Yoke back for that one? Do they let him sit? I don't know. I feel like whenever Yoke plays against Giannis, it's usually a banger. So if he's playing,
I hope he plays.
I think we got a chance. I think without him, it's going to be hard. But I think that one's going to be kind of a telling game, I think, for how we're going to finish out the season. So that's one that I got my eye on. And then I think a little bit later with some of those other games, it's just going to be dependent on who's playing. But we've got a really interesting end of the season in terms of who we got and how it's going to shape up the Western Conference. So it's going to be interesting.
Some tough teams. Yeah. Pat, what do you think?
Yeah, I had that Bucks game circled on my notes as well. I think that'll be a real good test for our defense, see where we're at. And as you said, Bear, like it's usually a banger when Jokic and Giannis match up. So hopefully he plays, hopefully he's healthy by then, but obviously you don't need to rush anything just for that cool matchup. So that's one that I'm looking forward to for sure.
Yeah, I mean, there's some tough games on the schedule, like we said, even beyond next week, and we'll talk about it more on next show. But in the final 10 games, I'm hoping they go like 6-4 or something like that. That would finish them with 51 wins, and hopefully that's enough for like a 3 seed or something. But a question that I want to close on actually and get your guys' thoughts on is: do you think the Nuggets should rest like their guys and prioritize health over seeding, or do you think that they should push for the 2 seed or the 3 seed to enter the playoffs, like, for a favorable matchup? Or does that even matter to you? What do you guys think? Should they favor rest?
I think it was either episode 1 or episode 2 where Evan said that seeding doesn't really
Right.
matter, and we saw that last year. I mean, home court didn't help us against the Wolves last year, and so I'd be
Nope.
fine sacrificing a handful of games, or not a handful of games. I mean, there's only 10 left.
Just a couple, really. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'd be fine, just as long as we're healthy. I mean, as we know, AG's out tonight, and Jokic, hopefully he's back soon, but I'm fine sacrificing a few spots for a healthy Jokic.
I'd like for them to stay within that 2 or 3. Obviously, I don't want them sitting a bunch and dropping to the 4, because then you're on the same side as OKC. But I think it's going to be an important mix of rest and also winning some basketball games that we need, especially as we wrap up with, a Memphis team and a Rockets team to end the season. So I think it'll be interesting. I think that maybe it's, kind of like what we're seeing tonight. Give AG the night off. Everyone else is playing, right? Jamal, you're taking a night off. CB, taking a night off. But I don't think we'll see that kind of full scale of Jokic, Jamal, and AG out all at once. So we'll see.
Sure. Let's one more thing. Actually, let's do this. Let's go through the 10 games and everyone just say W or L for if you think we're going to win that game or not. Chicago tonight. Do you think they pull it off? I'm going to say W.
W. Yeah. Hey, is
W?
this assuming that Jokic is back by next game?
Ooh, that's
Let's
a good
say
question.
yes. Let's think
I don't know. There's a
positive.
lot of factors.
Let's say yes.
All right, we'll say Jokic is playing, I guess. Yep. Okay.
Yeah.
Milwaukee on Wednesday. I'm gonna go L, man.
Yeah, I'll go L just because it'll be Jokic's first game back. We'll see where he's at.
I'm eating
Ken's got
dubs,
the
man.
W.
I'm eating dubs.
I like
He lost
I
his
like it.
matchup in Milwaukee. I think he comes out and drops like 35, 10, and 12. So
Crazy
we're eating
triple double.
dubs. We're eating dubs.
I like it. Utah W should be, gotta be. They want to lose. Minnesota. It's a tough one. I'm gonna go L. I just can't buy it. I can't buy it right now.
I'm gonna go out on a limb and say W. We need that redemption
like
game
it,
going
Pat.
into the playoffs.
All right.
honestly.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yep.
I need that.
San Antonio.
I need that
I'm
positivity in my life.
Yep.
Yeah, that's good, man. I like it. San Antonio. I'm gonna go W. They're gonna be tanking full tank. I hope Nuggets should get that.
W.
Golden State in Golden State. It's a tough game. I'm gonna go L on
I got
that one.
W. I
I
got
like
W.
it, Matt. I see Matt holding up the W. Okay,
Matt's
Matt
got
and
a
Pat
W as well.
W's. Pacers. I'm gonna say W. I just think the Nuggets know how to beat the Pacers. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Sacramento. I'm gonna go L. This is at Sacramento. I just feel like they're gonna lose a weird one. Kind of a BS game. W for Ken.
Hey,
L for Matt.
I agree. I got L as well. They always match up pretty well against
right.
us, I feel like.
I got him
3 L's, 1 dub.
Jokic always goes crazy against San Antonio. He always goes crazy against them. Sacramento. So
Fair.
we'll see.
Memphis and Houston to close out the season. I'm gonna go L Memphis and I'm gonna go W Houston. That's gonna be a big game.
I got to
man,
switch.
that's tough.
You gotta switch.
I'm
We
with
go-
Pat.
I
I'm
got
going.
W and L.
Okay.
I'm going
That is at
WL.
Houston too.
I'm going WL.
So that could decide the seeding for everybody. That last game against Houston, because the Nuggets are only a game behind Houston right now. So that's going to be a huge one. I guess we'll see. Maybe we'll go back to this tape and see if who was correct or who wasn't. But
Okay.
fellas, I think that's going to do it.
Last thing.
Go ahead, Ken.
If it's last game and the seeding really matters and maybe it has a good matchup for the Nuggets, do they tank that last game to get the matchup they want?
Like, if it means that they're avoiding Minnesota in the first round, if they lose this game, should they lose?
Yeah.
I think you lose.
I heard DNVR. I was listening to their show from yesterday, and they were kind of talking about the same thing.
Yeah.
I think he probably should. They've got our number for sure, and especially in the playoffs as well.
I think that's the only team that I manipulate the matchups for. Even the Lakers, who I don't want to see, I would still be okay if that's what it ended up being, and you just kind of take it for what it is. That's a good question, though. All right.
Yep.
We are going to wrap up here. We went a little long today, but that's okay. Thank you all for listening to the Wash Kings podcast. We are here weekly. We do shows Monday nights, and we have them posted for you by at least Tuesday morning. Check us out on our Instagram and our socials. You'll find us at the Wash Kings Pod and the Wash Kings over there. And a lot of content will be coming out throughout the week. Fellas, that was fun. Thank you for joining me tonight. And hopefully the Nuggets finish strong.
Yep. Let's do it. Subscribe.
Positive vibes, baby.
Sending out all the positive vibes. We need them.
Go Duke.
Like,
go Nuggets.
subscribe.
Let's go.
Go Duke.
Big Duke guy.
Dimple gun.